All right, so I wanted to have a chat about the budget or kind of just our money. Um, and we haven't really found time to do it. So I'm going to make this video and hopefully outline at least the way that I'm thinking about it. So that way it gives us a start. I'm not thinking that we're in a punitive way that we want to reduce our spending. What I want to be is proactive. I want to know at every point when we need to buy something that we know we have the money for it. Most of the time, we kind of fly by the seat of our pants a little bit. We kind of know we have enough money. But now that they're going to have two in college, I don't believe we have the buffer to be that relaxed about it. And so I want to make sure that we're proactive. So what I've done here is I've listed off as many as I can of our fixed costs. And these are costs that sometimes they occur, often like phone and internet. Some things happen over the course of a year, or maybe they happen at one point in the year. Our house taxes, for example, are due in September. Our Roths are usually due in around March. And we want to make sure that we embrace our true expenses. Essentially, everything that we've spent across an entire year, we have an item, we basically assigned money to this. There's a few ways to organize this. And so what I've done here is I've tried to list off all the fixed costs, and then I look at our salaries per check. But it's much more useful to think of it as kind of in a per month basis, because you don't get checks during July and August. We want to include. We want to make sure that we have kind of per month, not kind of per paycheck money. So right now, I have I have, I also have these are, I put them in our fixed cost, but it's not quite that. But they're things we're choosing to do, things like trips and so on. And so we have about, at least for this year so far, about 5,800 per month. Um, and so if we have an income of about 11,000, and then we have 58 per month, we're talking about 5,400 or so that we can spend on other things. All right. So I've not included IFA's college spending on it. So if we're talking about 5,400, we have been spending about $1,000 on merchandise, $1,000 on groceries, and $1,000 on dining. We per month. We can go and actually look at the specific numbers for some of these to kind of to break them out. So it's like 1,100 for dining, a little bit lower for merchandise, and so on. And about 1,100 for groceries, and those are the actual real numbers. So already that's 3,000 on the 5,400. We have entertainment costs, we have some medical costs, some home maintenance costs, and so on. And that leaves us with, I mean, even adding up all of this, only a few $100. This does not allow us to save for, say, a new car. This does not allow us to contribute to IFA's college. I think the auto maintenance I put in the fixed cost anyway. Um, so the um, so what we want to be able to do is to say, okay, how much are we? How much do we want to spend? How much do we need to spend for Emilia's college? How much do we need to spend for IFA's college? Put those into fixed costs, and then track what we actually spend. So that way, when we want to go out or we want to plan a trip, we have the money to actually do that. We can kind of say that we know we have this much. And if something surprising comes around, we can then say, okay, what are our priorities? What can we pull back on a little bit? Where can we readjust? Other places we can save money, and so on. But being more proactive, so that way we're in a position at every point when a bill comes in, a tax bill, a Roth bill, We can, choose kind of how much do we want to give to charity, service on the generator, whatever it happens to be. Breaking it across months, like service on the generator, breaking it across months helps in terms of kind of planning everything out. We just kind of assign our paychecks to all these different categories. Now, I can do most of the tracking. And that's not a problem. There are a few things that I can't do, and there are certain things that you could do that would make this process easier. So one question we kind of have to ask is, so is it even feasible to just live off of my income and use yours for college? And my income is 7,900. And technically we could, in terms of fixed costs, but that only gives us about maybe $3,000 total in order to for all the other things, which we might be able to do. But I just want to put that question out there as like, is that even feasible? The things that I can't really track and make it and muddy up this picture are your PayPal purchases, the St. Joseph purchases, and the Cranston High School lease. And all I would need from you is to when you make a purchase, just you can just shoot me a text and say, about $500 at job lot on this day, and I can just and then once I know that, I can go in and it's easy for me to track it. So just those things would help clear things up a lot. And then the other thing is basically, I think we need to just discuss our priorities. Maybe we can just do it over drinks or something, or have like every other week and just have like let's look at what we're spending money on, what do we want to plan on, and so on. Every week or every other week, whatever it happens to be, in order to do that. Or if we want to just do it once a month, or we kind of set everything up. Now, historically, I have generally thought in terms of these averages, which works pretty well. I've also explored the YNAB app, which I told you before, and I'm kind of doing this in parallel, and I've learned a lot from there. So essentially taking our money and assigning it to the different categories, and then we can see where we're overspending, where we're underspending, how we can adjust it, and so on. And this app, I think it has a slightly different philosophy, but I think it works pretty well. I actually like the philosophy a lot, where essentially they say like every dollar has, you assign every dollar a job, you kind of give every dollar a job. You make sure that you deal with your real expenses, which means like everything that is due across an entire year. We make sure that we have that all, and then we kind of roll with the punches, meaning that we kind of readjust when inevitably something comes up. But I would really like to be able to have something where we can save for kind of either a new car or some surprise expense, and not have to worry about it as much. And so when it comes around, and we know it's going to come around at some point, we want to be able to be in a position where we can control that. And I want to make sure that we are on top of any of the college expenses that we might be incurring. And that's my thing. So basically, I just want to be proactive in all of our purchases so that we know, and it may be that we can say, and if it helps to break it up by week, we can break it up by week if that's helpful. But it allows us to say, okay, this week we've gone out like twice for X amount of dollars. That means we probably should either not go out or just curb our spending and dining a little bit the next week. Or we might say, what, going out to eat is a social necessity, and we feel like seeing friends and so on, maybe we can reduce the number by one concert or something like that. Or maybe there's some way we can save money on some of our fixed expenses, so that would improve things, whatever it happens to be. But the discussion of having what are our priorities and how we can do that, and have like an honest picture of what we have, what we're bringing in, what we're actually spending. And the only way to do that is to track every expense. Now, I can do almost all of that, but I can't do all of it because there's certain things that I just can't do. And so but I want to make this as easy for you as possible. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to put out there. And hopefully this video will help start the discussion. And when we have a moment, we can sit down and actually talk about these things.